It was just a routine day for Zlatan Ibrahimovic, but little did he know that he would become the target of a potential assassination attempt. As he parked his car, he had no idea that he had made a mistake that would put his life in danger. Peter Mangs, a notorious gunman, saw Zlatan's red Ferrari on the pavement and was so enraged that he went home to retrieve his gun. The footballer was only seconds away from being shot when fate intervened, and Zlatan had left by the time Mangs returned. This harrowing experience is just one of the many life-threatening situations that footballers face, and in today's video, we'll explore 10 such instances that will leave you at the edge of your seat. So buckle up and get ready for a nail-biting ride. Number 1. Cristiano Ronaldo. In his Manchester United days, he narrowly escaped unhurt after crashing his Ferrari into a roadside barrier. He was on his way to the training ground when it happened, and horrific photographs later emerged of the battered car. The crash happened in the tunnel which takes traffic under the airport runway between Winslow and Hale, Cheshire. Witnesses said Ronaldo got out of the car and stood beside the wreckage, apparently not injured in the accident. He went on to take part in a training session with his teammates. An eyewitness described how the front edge of the sports car had been completely demolished, while one of the front wheels had sheared off and could be seen 200 yards away from the scene. The witness said, "I got there just after the accident happened and saw the state of the car. It is amazing he got out of it without a scratch." Number 2. Virgil van Dijk. Liverpool defender Virgil van Dijk needed emergency surgery during his time at Groningen in 2012. Dick Lukian, the Groningen reserve coach at the time, told how Van Dijk feared for his life to such an extent he wrote a will after the procedure. The 20-year-old was taken ill after an Eredivisie win over Excelsior during his first full senior campaign, and it turned out he was suffering from appendicitis, peritonitis, and kidney infection. Van Dijk has spoken about his surgery scare in the past and recalled how he feared the worst at one stage. "I still remember laying on the bed," he said not long after the incident in 2012. "The only thing I could see were tubes dangling out of me. My body was broken and I couldn't do anything. At such a moment, the worst scenarios were whizzing around your head. My life was at risk. My mom and I prayed to God and discussed possible scenarios. At some point, I had to sign some papers. It was kind of a testament." Number 3. Alan Smith. Alan Smith is an English football coach and retired professional footballer who last played for Notts County. He has also represented the England national team, winning 19 caps. Smith was known for his aggressive mentality on the pitch and his high-pressing style of football. During a game against Liverpool, Alan Smith broke his leg and dislocated his ankle. Such a horrific injury occurred on February 2006 while he landed awkwardly while trying to block a free kick from John Aaron Rice. He had surgery, after which doctors predicted that he would be put in isolation for 9 months, only to speed up his recovery. However, Smith showed a strong comeback in the Champions League, where he scored a goal on one of the most famous European nights at Old Trafford. Number 4. Neymar. Neymar has sprung to glory light and is now one of the richest footballers in history. There was, however, a day Neymar almost lost his life in a ghastly car accident. At the age of almost 1 year, Neymar and his family were on their way to visit relatives when they were hit by an oncoming car on a steep mountain road in lashing rain. Little Neymar was covered in blood after a shard of glass cut deep into his forehead. Thankfully, the family recovered from the sad incident as people came to the rescue and pulled the family out of the car. Thinking about it, if he had not survived that day, then football would not know of this legend. Number 5. Ricardo Kaká. This is something unusual about Kaká, which goes far beyond his mesmerizing quality with a ball at his feet. However, Ricardo Kaká was not a famous footballer when he faced his near-death incident. At the age of 18, he fractured his spine in a swimming pool accident. This was not less than a nightmare for a football player who saw his entire career drowning in front of his very eyes, yet remarkably, he made a full recovery. "The accident was a very important episode in my life," he said. "At that point, I once again saw that God was with me. After 3 months, I started to play professionally with Sao Paulo. It was a mission. I think that football is my mission." Hold on to your seats because things are about to get even crazier from here. These footballers have faced some of the most unbelievable and downright bizarre situations you can imagine. But before we move on to their stories, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, Football Plaza. And don't forget to turn on the notifications so you'll always be the first to know when we upload new videos. Number 6. Peter Crouch. Peter Crouch and his wife Abby Clancy's romantic boat trip near Sardinia turned into a nightmare excursion that could have killed them both, the sportsman shared. The 2009 ordeal unfolded after Crouch, then 38, hired a motorboat for the pair to soak up some sun and sip champagne. The weather soon began to turn as they put the anchor down by Porto Servo, and their safety was threatened as the boat wouldn't budge from its spot. Talking about the incident, the footballer said, "I tried to grab the anchor, but it was snagged on something. And when I tried to put the boat in reverse, nothing happened, and we started to panic. What had begun as a romantic gesture was turning into a horror movie, and the rocks were getting closer and closer. But just as things were getting really desperate, the rope snapped, and we roared away. Number 7. Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva is widely deemed to be one of the best and most intelligent defenders in world football, and one who is still performing at an exceptionally high level at 38. But the Brazilian's career and life suffered back in 2005, when Silva moved to Dynamo Moscow on loan from Porto, and found out he had tuberculosis, a rare bacterial infection. Some of the symptoms included a high temperature, coughing fits, and lots of sweating, but Silva, just 21 at the time, had the disease unknowingly for 6 months before he was diagnosed. Doctors told him he was 2 weeks away from death, and he remained in the hospital in the Russian capital for 6 months. Things were so severe that doctors wanted to remove part of his right lung, a move that would have almost definitely ended his career there and then. However, his mother and wife opposed it, and so did his coach, Ivo Wortman. After that, slowly but surely, Silva was on the mend and started his recovery journey. Silva stated in an interview, "I almost died. This is why, whenever I play, I think back to those moments in Russia." Number 8. Eduardo da Silva. Eduardo Alves da Silva, commonly known as Eduardo, and sometimes nicknamed Dudu, is a former professional footballer who played as a forward. He began his career with his hometown club in Brazil, Bangu Atletico Club. He later joined Dynamo Zagreb's youth team. Some time ago, Silva suffered an injury, and it was so horrific that fans would probably never forget it in football history. During a tournament in February 2008, he suffered a torn left fibrillation and an open dislocation of his left ankle in a game against Birmingham City. The injury happened following a tackle by Martin Taylor of Birmingham. Subsequently of the incident, he was taken to Sally Oak Hospital for surgery. It took him almost a year to return to Arsenal's first team again. Number 9. Fernando Torres. Fernando Torres suffered what Atletico Madrid called a traumatic brain injury in the team's 1-1 draw with Deportivo La Coruna in 2017. Torres was injured while he was challenged for a ball in the air and collided with an opponent. He crashed heavily to the turf, with his head clattering against the ground. Medics rushed onto the field to tend to Torres, who was taken off the pitch by a stretcher and his neck in a brace. The Atletico Madrid players were shaken up by Torres' injury. Some were unable to look, while others cried. However, a couple of days of rest did him good, and he made a quick recovery from an almost death incident. Number 10. Petr Cech. Some time ago in history, the Premier League witnessed one of the most horrific moments in its history when Stephen Hunt clashed with Petr Cech. The incident came just 20 seconds into Chelsea's top-flight match against Reading on October 14, 2006, where the Blues went on to secure a 1-0 away victory. Chasing a long ball down the left wing, Hunt's boot caught Cech on the head when he went to collect the ball. Cech, then 24, and only 2 years into his Premier League career at the Stamford Bridge Club, suffered a depressed fracture of his skull. The former Blues star was transferred to the specialist neurosurgical unit at Radcliffe Infirmary, Oxford, where 2 loose pieces of skull were lifted away from the brain and replaced with metal plates. Had they been pushed deeper, he might have died. The current semi-professional hockey player was out of action for 3 months after undergoing surgery and has worn a protective headguard during matches ever since. What do you think about these players? Who do you think has suffered the most during his life? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, Football Plaza. Also, turn on the bell notifications so you never miss out on new content. And if you want to watch a video on 10 footballers with freakishly identical lookalikes, then click on the video to your left. And thank you for watching.